Hello, I'm Dr. Martin Baxmann. Today, I want to talk about something that affects every single one of us in our clinical practices, the hidden, invisible forces that drain our energy and our profits. We're going to learn how to spot these inefficiencies, these different forms of waste, and more importantly, how to eliminate them, so our work becomes not just more successful, but fundamentally lighter. Let's begin. Does this feel familiar? You know that feeling, right? You and your team are working incredibly hard, running from patient to patient, but by the end of the day, everyone is just completely drained. You're left wondering why it has to be such a struggle. Well, the answer is often hiding in plain sight. The source of that drain, the invisible enemy in our practices, has a name, and that name is waste. In the world of business management, waste is the mother of all evil. It's the reason we're forced to use our valuable energy where it simply isn't needed. It's the primary reason we lose time, lose profit, and burn out our teams. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. When you hear the word lean, you probably picture a car factory with robots and assembly lines, but that's a fundamental misunderstanding. Lean isn't about turning your practice into a rigid, soulless system. It's a mindset. It's all about improving our productivity and efficiency while, and this is the crucial part, making our work easier. It's simply about removing the friction from our daily clinical work. So if we're going to remove this friction, we first have to learn to see it. It's that simple. You cannot fix what you cannot see. And this requires us to develop a brand new skill, a new way of looking at the world, which I call the lean eye. So what exactly is the lean eye? Think of it as a specialist mindset that trains your brain to see hidden waste in any process. And once you develop it, I have to warn you, you can't turn it off. You'll be sitting in a restaurant and notice how inefficient their ordering process is. You'll be stuck in traffic and start analyzing the poor flow of the intersection. This new perspective becomes a permanent and incredibly powerful diagnostic tool for your business. All right, let's make this real. Let's apply this new lean eye to the most tangible forms of waste we see every day in our practices. We'll start with two of the biggest culprits out there, lost time and unnecessary data. 30 seconds. What is that really? It feels like nothing, an absolutely insignificant amount of time. But I'm about to show you how this tiny, tiny number, when magnified, can reveal a massive inefficiency that's draining the life out of your practice. Okay, let's do the math together. Picture a busy afternoon with 50 patients on the schedule. Now imagine your assistant needs just 30 seconds longer for each patient. Maybe they're searching for an instrument or walking to another cabinet. Well, as you can see, you multiply those 30 seconds by 50 patients, and you've lost 25 minutes. And that isn't just a number. That's overtime. That's team stress. That's the reason you're running late again. It is the difference between a patient feeling your practice is a well-oiled machine versus one that feels chaotic. Now let's shift from the clock to something a bit more subtle. In orthodontics, we love our data, don't we? We're rightly obsessed with diagnostics, but our love for cephalometric analyses can very quickly become what I call intellectual clutter, a huge source of data waste. For every single piece of data you collect, you have to ask yourself this one critical question. You see it right there. Does this data actually influence your decision? I've seen analyses with 30, even 40 different values, and when I ask a colleague, okay, that very obscure angle, how does it actually alter the treatment plan for this patient? The room often goes silent. If a piece of data doesn't change your clinical decision, then collecting it is pure waste, period. Okay, so from the intangibles of time and data, let's walk into the physical world of our operatories. Here, waste shows up as cluttered materials and a disrupted clinical flow, and it almost always stems from one simple problem, a lack of standardization. This chart illustrates the problem perfectly. Think about it. Does every doctor in your practice really need their own unique set of preferred pliers? That's a non-standardized practice you see on the left. It leads to excessive stock, cluttered drawers, and your assistants constantly wasting time just searching for things. Now look at the right, a standardized practice. Here the team has agreed on a single, efficient toolset. The result is order, optimized inventory, and a smooth, predictable workflow. And this leads directly to the waste of motion. I see this constantly. An intraoral photo is needed, but the camera is in another room. An assistant has to stop, walk down the hall, and retrieve it. And what's happening in the meantime? The doctor is waiting. The patient is waiting. Every single time, someone has to leave that chair to get something. Gloves, brackets, information. You have broken the clinical flow, creating a ripple of inefficiency. Now, we arrive at what I truly believe is the most critical and most overlooked form of waste. And this moves us beyond simple operational tactics and right into the very heart of our leadership philosophy. There is nothing more tragic in a practice than failing to recognize and utilize the true potential of your people. It's not just inefficient, it is a profound loss for your team members, for you, and for the entire organization. We often equate hard work and struggle with good performance, but more often than not, the opposite is true. Real talent reveals itself when a task feels easy to the person doing it. It just flows naturally. If you have an employee who is constantly grinding, constantly struggling, it's very likely they're a talented person who is simply in the wrong role. As leaders, it is our direct responsibility to fix this. We have to have conversations to discover our team's natural abilities. We must encourage them to try different roles. When you finally match a person's inherent talent to the right position, the quality of their work goes up, their job satisfaction goes up, and you eliminate that profound waste of human potential. So you see, by identifying these various types of waste, time and data, motion and materials, and especially talent, we can begin to systematically clean up our processes. We stop running around like a headless chicken, and we start operating with the beautiful precision and predictability of a Swiss clockwork. That is the ultimate goal. The first step was learning to see the waste that's been surrounding you all along. Now that you have the beginnings of your lean eye, the only question that remains is this: where in your practice will you start looking first?